Hello, my name is Klaas Boer and we're going to do a teaching about Eli and his sons and Samuel. And we read for this we read about it in 1 Samuel 2 verse 12 to 26, and I'm going to read it for you, and after that we're going to do some questions. Eli's sons were scoundrels. They had no regard for the Lord. Now it was the practice of the priest that whenever any of the people offered a sacrifice, the priest's servants would come with a three-branched fork in his hand while the meat was being boiled, and would plunge the fork into the pan or kettle or cauldron or pot, whatever the fork brought up, the priest would take for himself. This is how they treated all the Israelites who come from Shiloh. But even before the fat was burned, the priest's servant would come and say to the person who was sacrificing, "Give the priest some meat to roast. We won't accept boiled meat from you, but only raw." If the people said to them, "Let the fat be burned first and then take whatever you want," the servant would answer, "No, hand it over now. If you don't, I'll take it by force." This sin of the young man was very great in the Lord's sight, for they were treating the Lord's offering with contempt. But Samuel was ministering before the Lord, a boy wearing a linen ephod. Each year his mother made him a little robe and took it to him when she went up with her husband to offer the annual sacrifice. Eli would bless Elkanah and his wife, saying, "May the Lord give you children by this woman and take the place of the one she prayed for and gave to the Lord." Then they would go home, and the Lord was gracious to Hannah, and she gave birth to the 3 sons and 2 daughters. Meanwhile, the boy Samuel grew up in the presence of the Lord. Now Eli, who was very old, heard about everything his sons were doing to all Israel, and to how they slept with a woman who served at the entrance of the tent of the meeting. So he said to them, "Why do you do such things? I hear from all the people about these wicked deeds you do. No, my sons, the report I hear spreading amongst the Lord's people is not good. If one person sins against another, God may mediate for them. But if anyone sins against the Lord, who will intercede for them?" His sons, however, did not listen to their father's rebuke, for it was the Lord's will to put them to death. And the boy Samuel, he continued to grow in stature and in favor with the Lord and with his people. So here we see a great difference between Samuel and the sons of Eli. And we can think about what's the thinking behind this? How come that the sons of Eli didn't listen? How come that if Samuel grew in the same situation as Eli, that he had a different view on how to serve God? What is it with the leadership of Eli that his sons didn't listen to him? So how would you describe Eli's attitude and motivation? These questions and more, because you can ask the question to yourself too. What is it about my leadership? How is it with my influence on my children, on the people who I lead? What's my influence to them?